Hey there, sports fans. Mike Crook coming at you with episode 26 of Laces Out. In this episode, we're going to really be focusing on Florida State. Where is this team at? Where did we predict that they would be at by the end of the season? And where do we see that they're going forward from here on out, especially with all the questions surrounding Mike Norvell's job security? And as always, we'll be giving you an update on our fantasy football after Week 8, our college and pro level pick'ems, and our top games for the ACC and Big 12 this weekend coming up, so stay tuned. All right, Florida State, what are we doing, man? Just coming off of a bye week. Have Wake Forest coming up this weekend for homecoming. Let's take a quick recap on where we saw Florida State ending up this season when we did our preseason predictions and kind of where they're at right now and where we see them going forward from here. So, first off, we actually had Florida State with a ceiling of 9-3. And honestly, we actually had one of those losses being to Alabama at the beginning of the year. So thankfully we got that wrong. However, that's the only legit win that they have right now. The other two wins coming against East Texas A&M and Kent State. Like legit high school programs if we're going to be real. No disrespect to either of your programs though. Seriously, no disrespect. And the floor, we had it 7-5. They're literally one loss away from hitting the floor that we had them at. And on any other given Saturday, this would not be the best season in Florida State. But coming off a 2-10 season, most people would take 7-5 and run with it, being super elated. But man, that Bama game really hyped everyone up. People were talking playoff contentions, national championship appearances, and we just got like way ahead of ourselves. Egos got really big in Tallahassee, and I don't think those kids lived up to their potential. Probably got cocky. Who knows? But yeah, literally one loss away from hitting the floor that we predicted them at 7-5. So let's bring up the remaining schedule, shall we? And in a normal Florida State football year, this would not be difficult competition at all, as this squad faces Wake Forest this weekend for homecoming, and then Virginia Tech on November 15th. But let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's give them the dub against the Hokies. We'll talk about that Wake Forest game later on during our top ACC picks of the week. As for the road games, honestly, it wouldn't be a shocker if they lost all three. But how will the Gators play without Napier at the helm? And how does FSU fare against a down Dabo Swinney-led Tigers team? And let's be real, NC State may be the best shot for a road win for the rest of the season, and even that one looks iffy. All right, so here's our predictions for the Noles for the rest of the season. As much as we would love to see them win out and run the table, this is how we actually think things are going to legit pan out. And all I can say is, please prove us wrong, FSU. Again, Wake Forest, we'll talk about later on in this episode. Clemson, that's going to be an L. We absolutely think that Florida State is going to fall in Death Valley, unfortunately, and take a loss. Virginia Tech, we're going to give you that one. It's going to be a close dub, but we're going to give it to you, Florida State. This may change by the time we do those game predictions that week, but as it stands right now, it's going to be a close win. NC State, oh man, NC State in Raleigh. You know what? We're going to give this a close one, but we're going to call that one a very close win. My gut says it's not going to happen, but we're going to call that one a close win. And unfortunately, closing out the season on the road in the swamp, as it stands right now, if October 28th, Florida State travels to the swamp, I don't see them coming away with a win in this one, unfortunately. Prove me wrong. I mean, look at that Stanford game. How can you look at the product that Florida State put on the field in Stanford and tell me that they can legit compete with any one of these 5 teams left on the schedule? So yeah, we're going to give them the dub at Virginia Tech. It's a close one with NC State. I fully see it as being a loss to Clemson, and sadly, Florida State gets swept by their in-state rivals and falls to Florida to close out the regular season. So yeah, tough year for Florida State, no joke. But let's just say a huge miracle happens, and Florida State does win out. Where does that leave Norvell and company? We fully believe that the powers that be behind closed doors are already working on next year's head coach, and it's not going to be Mike Norvell. And also, none of the available coaches out there that have been recently fired actually excite me enough to say, hey, let's go get that guy. He'd be great for Florida State. There is one name, though, that keeps popping up, and the more I see the name, and the more I see the reasonings behind the name, the more I'm getting on board with it as the days press on. And that's former head boss man, Jimbo Fisher. So hear me out. He did burn a lot of bridges when he left Florida State, but there was a lot that was going on behind closed doors that I cannot lay complete fault with on him. Honestly, I probably would have done something similar if those rumors are true. He genuinely misses Tallahassee, and he can recruit like a madman, so we wouldn't have to live and die in the portal to the extent that we are now. He'd be better at developing the talents that are recruited now, as well as finding other coordinators who can do the same. Now don't forget, it did take Bobby 17 years to get his first national championship with Florida State. He lost the big game several times leading up to that 93 season. How many wide rights were there? Like, let's be real. And nobody faulted Bobby for that. He was still a hell of a coach, got his guys up for every game. But sometimes things just happen. So I think with the right supporting cast of coaches around him, Jimbo Fisher could do the same. Rant over. All right, now on to week 8 of fantasy football. Damn, what an incredible week 8 was for me. I was able to squeak by on Monday night thanks to Rashid Rice and take the top spot for points scored this weekend. Shout out to my boy Trey, who came in second place, his 168 to my 177. And GG's to Jordan on a great weekend of competition. Always fun. The 2-game lead I am enjoying right now will be put to the test this weekend, though, as Kelsey looks to avenge her husband and also seeks to revenge a week 2 loss that she suffered to me earlier this year. Should be a fun matchup, though, number 1 versus number 2, so we'll see how everything pans out when the dust settles come Monday night. Let's roll into the NCAA and NFL pick'ems for this week. And honestly, picks weren't terrible. I did fall off a little bit this weekend, though. My college picks went 7-3, so not bad. It's better than, the 4-6 or god-awful 3-7s that I had earlier this year. But teams that are supposed to win are actually winning now, so fewer upsets, thank God. My NFL picks also suffered as I did go 9-4 in both of my entries. So still not terrible, but, I was getting used to those 10-plus wins each week. It was nice. But let's hope for a perfect weekend. Still looking for that perfect weekend. Is this the right one for it? Time will tell. But let's press on to the next topic. Our top 3 picks of the week for the ACC and Big 12. So last week we did go 2-1 in the ACC with the lone loss being the fact that Wake Forest beat SMU. So not terrible. Big 12 on the other hand, we laid a huge goose egg going 0-3 with Kansas, Arizona State, and Colorado all coming up short big time, especially CU. My God, I don't even want to talk about that game anymore. Go check out the instant reaction for that one if you really want to see. But let's dive into our new picks this week because I really need to improve on that 20-22 overall record. So first up in the Big 12, 5-3 Arizona State traveling to 5-3 Iowa State. This one, honestly, based on the records, could go either way. But based on the fact that Arizona State dropped a really rough one last week, and Iowa State kind of circled back and had a nice regrouping weekend after being upset by CU. Give me the Cyclones in this one. And honestly, give me the Cyclones big in this one. 17 points or more. Huge win destroying the visiting Sun Devils from Arizona State. Next up, number 17 and 7-1 on the year, Cincinnati, traveling to Utah. Now, Utah's 24th in the country right now with a record of 6-2. Utah's coming off of a huge win over CU last week on their home turf, absolutely destroying the Buffs. The competition this weekend, though, with the visiting Bearcats, night and day different. If you think Utah's going to score in the second play of the game in this one, you're going to lose that bet big time, almost guaranteed. And honestly, if we'd have to pick right now, as much as we love Utah and that young quarterback, give me Cincinnati in this one. Honestly, in quasi-big fashion, 11 points in this one. Maybe we'll call it 11 to 14 points. But either way, Bearcats come away with this one. Road win for you. Good job, Cincinnati. Lastly, Arizona and Colorado, man. Oh, my God. I didn't like the CU game. I watched parts of it on my phone. I hate these late-night kickoffs. They're just horrible. But this is a homecoming game. And CU should win this one. I mean, Arizona is pretty evenly matched with the Buffs. And as much as I hate to be wrong about CU, I'm going to have to go with Arizona on this one. They're favored in this one, and honestly, I can see the Buffs letting last week's loss against Utah still just like simmering in the back of their mind, causing doubt and uncertainty. And that's one thing that a lot of great coaches will always tell you, don't let a single loss beat you twice. Can CU get over the just destroying loss that they suffered on the road last week? And can they rise to the occasion and win on home turf for their fans during homecoming? As much as I want to say yes, no, I'm going to have to go with Arizona. Long-winded prediction, but yeah, Arizona, unfortunately, it's not an upset. But for me, it's an upset because CU should win this one, but I just don't see it happening. Prove me wrong, CU. I would gladly take an L on this pick if you get the homecoming dub. Sorry, lighting change there. Phil Light died on me, so I think I finished the pick. Unfortunately, Arizona for the win. Prove me wrong, CU. I'll take an L on that one. So now on to our ACC picks. So first up, 6-1 and number 10 in the country, Miami, traveling to 5-3 SMU. I don't see this one as being much of a contest, honestly. SMU will put up a fight for a little bit, but eventually Miami will make the corrections that they need to, get in the groove, find the zone, whatever you want to call it, and they're going to coast to an easy 14-plus victory by the time the final whistle blows. Next up, number 15 Virginia, 7-1 on the season, traveling to 5-3 Cal. This one also not a huge level of competition for Virginia, but Cal is sneaky good. Honestly, I think that Cal could actually cause a lot of disruption in this one because East Coast teams traveling to the West Coast, oftentimes a recipe for disaster, trap game, whatever you want to call it. This one's actually going to be tougher than it should be for Virginia. If this was on their home turf, I would say Virginia by 21 plus easy. But traveling west, and I don't even know what time the game is, whether it's a late kickoff or not, but either way, this one's going to be tougher for Virginia than it should be. They escape with a 7-10 point victory. And I mean escape, like it's going to come down to the last possession or two. Lastly, Florida State, my God, man. The bane of my existence this season. What do I do with this team? It's terrible. Homecoming. You should be able to destroy Wake Forest on your own homecoming. You have 2 home games left. Literally 2. You should be going out on top, giving your seniors their flowers and all the good accolades that they've worked so hard for. Except you're sitting at 3-4 on the season. Right now, I could take 6-1. I literally could. I would be happy, not totally happy, but happier, I guess, with a 6-1 record, single loss being to Miami or Alabama, one of the two. Because let's face it, those are 2 really good teams this year. But you're 3-4, man. You lost to Virginia. You lost to Stanford. You lost to Pitt. Like, come on. Those are 3 games you should have won. And if this was any other Florida State team, hands down, FSU wins this game. No questions asked. It's homecoming, for God's sake. But when you look online and you see these tickets going for as cheap as I've seen as $11 to $14, somewhere in that range, $11 to $14. And you put up, what, $200 million in renovations on this stadium? And homecoming tickets are going that cheap. That right there says a lot about where this team is. For that reason alone, just like with CU, I'm picking Wake Forest to win this one. And it kills me to say that, but Wake Forest, 8 points or less in an upset win, because right now Florida State is favored by anywhere from 7.5 to 9.5 points. I hate saying that. Prove me wrong, Florida State. Prove me wrong. I'll take the L, get the dub, because you're going to need to have some kind of momentum before you go on the road to face the Tigers. Let's be real. All right, so there you have it, folks. Another episode yet again of Laces Out is officially in the books. Again, if you like the content, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We greatly love and appreciate all the support. And for those of you that are already doing it, thank you. We appreciate you so much. We are such a little channel. We don't get sponsors. We do this all of our own free time. We buy the equipment, all the graphics. We try to spruce this up and make it look as professional as possible. We really do. And yeah. So enjoy this weekend's slate of games, and we look forward to seeing you back here again next week for another episode of Laces Out. So take care.